So I live here in this house with my brother Sam, who you might have noticed a few things made out of clay around the house. Like lots of little trolls and dragons and a wolf and a little boy. So Sam is a ceramic artist, as a lot of you know, and he's actually out of town. He might come in at some point during this concert. He's been in Louisiana at a market. But Sam is 7 years older than me, and so I feel like in a way growing up we didn't know each other that well. It's really only been in the last 10 years or so that we've kind of gotten to be friends. And then we've lived together for 5 or 6 years now. And so we've learned, to apologize and admit that we were wrong, which feels terrible, right? Leading up to apology is like the worst feeling in the world. And then once you get over the hump and you say it, what a relief. So we've learned to do that some, which is fun. And but Sam is a wonderful guy. Since he's not here, I'll talk about him. I really love him, and he would tell you, we grew up in the same family, same church, everything. But there's so many things that are very different between us. And he would tell you that, and may have told you this story, that he didn't really feel like he became a Christian until his kind of early, mid-30s. And there's something kind of exciting sometimes when people meet Jesus later in life. There's a kind of energy about that. And so Sam loves to talk about that. And it really encourages me. Sometimes we sit around this kitchen table in here and we talk about the hope that we have. We love to kind of speculate about the kingdom and the life to come. And one of the things that Sam says that I love to repeat to myself, if it's been a really terrible day, what is that kid's book about? So-and-so is really bad, terrible. Yeah. So whenever it's been one of those days, Sam will say, man, what a miserable day it's been. But you know what? In 200 years from now, we are not going to be worried about this. I love that perspective. But then on the other hand, sometimes maybe it's been a really beautiful day. Something good has happened that you don't want to forget. Sam will say, man, you know what? In 200 years, we're going to look back on this day, and we're going to remember how sweet it was. Because it doesn't just get obliterated or annihilated. I love the scene in Scripture after Jesus has come back from the dead, and the disciples are all scared out of their minds, so they've locked themselves in this room. And Jesus, even though the doors are closed, he shows up in the room. Bloop, there he is. That's the sound of showing up in a room. He shows up in the room, and he said, the first thing he says, get ready. It's super holy and spiritual. He says, have y'all got anything to eat? And they say, yeah, we do. We've got some fish. And so he reaches out his hand, and he takes the fish with his fingers, and with his teeth, he bites the fish and chews it up. And with his tongue, he tastes it. Somebody a few nights ago raised their hand at this point and said, what are you getting at? And I said, wait 2 more seconds. He was really there. He was really there. It wasn't a ghost. And Scripture says he's the firstborn from among the dead. He's the first of what we will become. Scripture says when we see him, we will be like him because we will see him as he is. So the future and the hope that we have is not some ghostly, vaporous cloud existence. It's some place where you can have a big fish fry. That's good news. We're looking forward to a real resurrection, a physical reality, and a real hope. Which also means that when you get there and when I get there, I'm going to know your face because it's really going to be you. And I'm going to look in your eyes and they're going to be the same eyes that I remember from here. We're going to know each other. Isn't that good? And there are lots of people that I'm looking forward to meeting for the first time. So a friend asked me this past spring to write an Easter song, and I just kept thinking about what Sam says. bombs explode and found no hole to hide in. Wars and rumors of the worst we can imagine, where nothing sacred can survive. Well, evil is a conquered God, so you can meet me here in 10,000 years, and I'll know your face and you'll know mine. We will lift our voices to the one who loved us. Though he scorned the cross, he knew the joy beyond was worth the cost of keeping promises in a world of pain, till we were face to face. Now I have heard a quiet voice in the middle of the shouting, gentle in the violence and as rooted as the mountains, and nothing of the fool I've been has managed yet to silence it. So speak to us all huddled here, we're refugees and children. None of us is innocent, we're bloody just from living, and we are beggars at your door. We came here 'cause we heard your voice. So come and wipe our tears away, dearest friend of sinners. Jesus, kiss each worried face and wash us in the river. All the earth will see his might and blossom like a flower. Power and love in union sing that he has held us tenderly. So you can meet me here in 10,000 years, and I'll know your face and you'll know mine. We will lift our voices to the one who loved us. Though he scorned the cross, he knew the joy beyond was you would meet me here in 10,000 years, and I'll know your face and you'll know mine. We will lift our voices to the one who loved us. Though he scorned the cross, he knew the joy beyond was worth the cost of keeping promises in a world of pain, till we were face to face. Thanks.